Real quick before we dive into this episode of the podcast, be sure to grab your free PDF copies of my latest books at frugal.show/free. Now on to the show. Welcome to the Frugalpreneur podcast. I am your host, Sarah St. John. This episode is what I refer to as a showcase episode where I feature a bootstrapped entrepreneur and they briefly share their tips, tricks, tactics, techniques, and tools that help them bootstrap their business and the successes and failures along the way. My hope is that each of these showcase episodes will provide at least one valuable takeaway that you could implement right away in your own bootstrap business journey. Now on to the episode.
Hi, I'm Mike Kaeding, CEO of Norhart. We design, build, and rent apartments, and we're transforming the way this is done by incorporating technologies and techniques that have revolutionized other industries. This is driving down the cost while maintaining the quality of housing. In many ways, you can think of us as applying the principles of frugality to how housing is built. We use these techniques throughout many stages of our business growth, from when my parents first started the business until we became a $200 million company. We believe these core principles will help drive down the cost of housing to one day solve America's housing shortage and affordability crisis. I think the first step to bootstrap your business is to bootstrap your life. If you can live a very inexpensive life, that gives you a lot of runway to be an entrepreneur, to experiment and to try new things. So for me, I took it to a bit of an extreme, but I wanted to get that cost of my life down as low as humanly possible. So I would do things like calculate the price of all my food based upon how much it costs per 100 calories. So is it 10 cents a 100 calories? Is it $1 per 100 calories? And guess what? There's some very inexpensive food. Oatmeal is one example. I don't recommend that for health reasons, but that's one way to drive down your cost. Another one is I had one computer and this giant desktop that I had in my office, and I would bring it home, literally lug this desktop home every weekend so I can continue my work during the weekend. But living that inexpensive life early on, I think, is a really critical element. Then as you expand into your business, there are so many opportunities to drive down and to bootstrap what you do in your business. There are many moments where you look at, do you want to take the easy option, which may be expensive, or do you want to do the hard option? One example is legal documents. We've gotten to a point in our business where we can set up new companies in a matter of minutes. The legal paperwork to start it up is not that hard if you take the time to learn how to do it properly. And then you save yourself hundreds or thousands of dollars in that process. I think the biggest success we've had in bootstrapping is realizing how much less expensive it can be to do the work yourself or to have your employees do the work. What I mean by this is you could, in some cases, use third-party services to do parts of your value proposition. For us, that was building apartments. And we would have subcontractors like plumbers, electricians, or HVAC people do the work for those components of the building. We took the leap of faith to start to do some of those elements on our own, and we started incorporating all of that into the business. And that's driven down the cost of what we do substantially. It's been a key element to our success. Now, on the flip side is not all of those experiments work out. There are times that we find out that we can't do it better or less expensive than others, but don't be afraid to try. We've also had some failures, and I would say probably one of the biggest fundamental failures that I had was not really evaluating my own time. It's easy to just jump in and do a lot of this work yourself, but it's important to know at some point you need to hire people, you need to bring people alongside of you to do the lower value work to free yourself up to do the higher value work. I have two tips to help you bootstrap your business. The first is very practical. It's to hire international people to help you do your work. Specifically, you can look at places and countries like the Philippines. When you hire people internationally, it can be a lot less expensive than hiring people locally. And in doing so, you can use their help and their resources to free you up to stop doing the lower value tasks on your plate. And the second thing is to not be afraid of the unknown. Taking on new big challenges, even if they seem scary up front, they're never as bad when you look in the rear view mirror. So take on those challenges, try some new risks to help you lower down the costs of your business. We are starting a podcast that I believe your listeners will enjoy. It's called Becoming a Unicorn. Now, a unicorn is a private company that reaches $1 billion valuation. What is that journey really like? Going from a small, scrappy startup to $1 billion company. And that's what we're going to explore, going deep into that and seeing the good, bad, and the ugly of what that experience is like. Now, to learn more about it, you can go to our company's website called norhart.com. That's NORHART.com and click podcast to get updates on our Becoming a Unicorn podcast.
I hope you enjoyed that episode and were able to take away a valuable nugget of information that you can implement right away in your own business. If you feel your story would be valuable for the listeners of this show, please visit frugal.show/guest. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you haven't already, don't forget to grab your free PDF copies of my latest books at frugal.show/free. Until next time.